From Kendrick Lamar to Lucian Grainge, Drake's lawsuit has so many plot twists. Let's talk about it. They 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 talk about it. Welcome back to She Could Talk the podcast. I'm your host, Gangali. Hey, and that's Gangalee on all streaming platforms. If you want to check out my music, look for the red glasses, look for the locks. You tell me if I can rap, okay? But over here on YouTube, on She Could Talk the podcast, this is where I react to everything. I react to news, sports, crimes, musicians, politicians, YouTubers, TikTokers. If they're talking about it, we're talking about it, okay? Okay. All right, so I'm kind of back on the music side of things with my algorithms here, and it's heating up, right? So it's like the elephant in the room, especially with me being a musician, in particular a rapper, in particular my genre and my specialty is hip hop. I would be remiss if I didn't react to this. And last week, you saw how I reacted to Salt and Pepper, who is also suing the same record label. UMG. So Drake right now is in a lawsuit with UMG, right? UMG for defamation of character because he says, or he is stating in his lawsuit allegedly, that UMG allowed Kendrick Lamar to use, lies or, untruths, falsities to basically win with the Day Not Like Us album, song, not album, but song, and, what have you. So here we are, right? Some people say, oh, you're a sore loser, you want to like have a lawsuit, right? But I think it's a little deeper than that. So I didn't really want to react to it until a couple of news articles popped up, in particular this one. So what I wanted to do without further ado is react to or watch this news article talking about Drake, in particular Lucian Grainge, responded because Lucian Grainge is the CEO, president, owner, etc. of UMG, and he responded to Drake's lawsuit several times, but it's kind of like honestly the same response. Like they spent billions, millions of dollars on Drake over the years, and they would never do anything to harm Drake. But Drake kind of feels like he has proof to prove otherwise, allegedly. So what I wanted to do was react to it from not only a She Could Talk, reaction channel on YouTube standpoint, but also as an artist. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is it came over my algorithm over the weekend here, that just passed, and I wanted to go ahead and react to it. So this is them talking about Drake.
Pop superstars Drake and Kendrick Lamar is far from over, though the two have seemed to stop exchanging those viral diss tracks, at least for now. Instead, Drake is looking for more ammunition for his defamation lawsuit against his own record label over Lamar's hit song, Not Like Us. And as ABC's Ike Adachi reports, the head of the company now weighing in.
They not like us. They not like us.
The legal fireworks are intensifying between Drake, fellow heavyweight Kendrick Lamar, and Universal Music Group over the diss track Not Like Us. And this morning, UMG CEO Lucian Grainge breaking his silence on Drake's latest discovery bid after Drake accused UMG, his own label, of orchestrating.
So this is random, but I don't know. I feel like it's a double entendre as a musician because that allows me to use discernment because I think of bars and metaphors and just deeper levels of things and everything, not just music. But I felt like the Day Not Like Us, even back then when I heard it a year and a half ago when all this went down, I felt like it was deeper than just talking to Drake. But hear me out now. Drake represents Canada, right? They're not like us. U.S., United States, right? And Kendrick was kind of like speaking for the people of oppression and poverty. I don't know. But I feel like that was a stance that they were trying to take because it was a very politically hot climate. when all this stuff started to pop off. But I don't know. That was just random thoughts.
A scheme to devalue his brand through the release and alleged aggressive promotion of Kendrick's hit song.
They not like us. They not like us.
In a court filing, Grainge calling the allegations ridiculous, adding it makes no sense whatsoever. The CEO further says the company has invested hundreds of millions of dollars backing Drake's career.
But he said this a couple of months ago when the lawsuit was filed. He was like, "Oh, we would never do that." So the story hasn't changed, but I'm gonna let this play out, and I got some commentary.
Last year, Drake filed a suit against UMG for defamation, and this week he's asking a federal judge to force UMG and Grainge to turn over the label's unredacted contract with Lamar.
At the heart of Drake's argument is that UMG made it so that Kendrick.
Do you know what an unredacted contract means? In case you don't, that means redacted or retracted. I don't know if they're using it correctly, if I'm saying it correctly, but means that you blank out certain pertinent information, right? So you want this contract, I'll send it over to you, but you won't see certain things like maybe the name of the person, or maybe their address, or maybe the dollar amounts, maybe the stipulations of conditions of what you'll do, right? So it's certain things that can be retracted, removed, blanked out. Just like you could just take a black marker and blank it out and like set it over. They want it, here we go. So you're obliging the request for the submission of the contract, but you could blank out certain things. But he went specific and said, I want you to send me over the unretracted or unredacted contract, meaning unblanked out, to let me know what the numbers were, what was the conditions, what were the stipulations. So to me, that's deep. But let's continue.
Lamar was benefiting to the detriment of Drake. Drake is trying to see how best Kendrick Lamar could have profited from this scheme that Drake is accusing UMG to have endeavored.
Although Lamar isn't a defendant in the case, Drake's legal strategy centers around the distribution and promotion of his song, especially those scathing lyrics.
Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to sell Block 1.
Drake is accusing UMG of knowingly spreading a false and malicious narrative about him. Grainge calling the claims absurd. Not Like Us continues to top the charts and rack up Grammys, especially following the electrifying Super.
Remember this part where he said that, and I want to go back because I don't want to misconstrue anything. So let's go.
Grammys, especially following the electing a false and malicious narrative about him.
The false and malicious narrative about him, saying that he's like a pedophile, etc., right? So, alleged, right? So they're saying, hey, so Drake is suing because he's saying, hey, you allowed this dude to, get a #1 song off of a false narrative and a false allegation about me. Could that be what the lawsuit is about, and not about, hey, I don't care about the battle per se? If I lost the battle and if you guys said you like the song better than me, that's fine. But listen, that song has a false narrative being presented about me. And that's the problem. Because I don't care if you want to say they won or not, but would you, if you wasn't a pedophile, right? Would you want someone out there saying that about you? But let's continue, because I got some commentary about it.
Calling the claims absurd. Not Like Us continues to top the charts and rack up Grammys, especially following the electrifying Super Bowl halftime show watched by over 100 million fans worldwide.
In the heart of a discovery practice between Drake and UMG. And once that's done, both sides, armed with the facts of their case, will try to come to some sort of settlement agreement. And if that fails, this case will quickly move towards a trial.
The file now heads back to the judge with UMG's chief executive doubling down, calling it a groundless attempt to harass and intimidate. Where will this leave Drake's quest for answers? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Morgan?
All right, Ika Jachi reporting. Thank you for that. Okay, so for more on this, I'm joined now by ABC News contributor Brian Buckmar and Anscape senior cultural writer Justin Tinsley. Thank you so much. We've got to dive into this because my timeline is in shambles about this. Okay, so Brian, from a legal perspective, as you explained in Ike's piece, Drake's case against his own record label is in the discovery phase. What is his legal team hoping to achieve here? And is
So, because in a weird way, this is my realm of expertise. The discovery phase, right? The discovery phase is basically where you want to gather information from the other side to prove your accusations. Does that make any sense, right? So, like him requesting the unretracted or unredacted, contract between UMG and Kendrick to see what were your stipulations, what were your conditions, what was your main objective in order to get paid, right? So, because, what I'm saying, like, I know an artist that be on the same label that have beef, right? But guess what? One is not going to stop the other's money, and the label is not going to help stop the money, allegedly. So I can see where he's like, well, how did you let this fly? Because I'm your artist and I'm kind of like one of your big producing artists. So how would you let this fly and why would you let them accuse me of something that you know I'm not? And I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but I'm just saying like for him to go this hard to clear his name, because that's the vibe I'm getting from it. This is what my spidey senses is saying. It's like, you're right. It's not about the rap battle or your loss. And I'm gonna give you some proof why I feel it's not about losing the battle, but it's more about clearing my name because don't say I did something when I didn't do it. But let's continue.
something productive for their case likely to come out of this?
Yeah, so they're looking to arm themselves with the facts. This is a case where Drake is going
Discovery
up against
phase.
UMG, which is the parent company of Republic Records, his record label. And they're asking for basically everything in the kitchen sink. They're asking for Kendrick Lamar's contract, the details of that. They're also, interestingly enough, asking about any allegations about Kendrick Lamar in terms of domestic violence. I think, and I'll leave this to Justin, who knows far more about the culture and the music background. I'm just going to stick to my legal lane. But I think it has to do with something.
So I'm gonna say this, random, just shot into my ether. Years ago, I remember when 50, because 50 is original Petty King. Shout out to 50. Shout out to 50 Cent, the original Petty King. I respect his game. I respect him so much. I would never want to cross him because he is a OG of Petty. But I remember years ago where he was, I think it was DJ Khaled that he was, because DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, etc. And he found, or was it Montana? But I think it was either, I feel like French Montana was in the mix some kind of way. So you guys keep me honest out there. But 50 Cent found the store, I feel like, that DJ Khaled's family owned and sent people out there in Florida to the store with like, yeah, and videotaping. This is like World Star Hip Hop. This is 50.com days. This is, I mean, it's a decade plus ago. And I was like, wow, this dude will find your family. I was like, this 50 Cent will find your family. So all that to say is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't put it past people in this music realm. If you watch battles, if you watch Smack, shout out to Smack DVD, shout out to, Rap Battle Leagues, Ultimate URL, you know what I'm saying? If you watch battle raps and you watch it, people will pull out facts, pull out receipts, pull out pictures, they'll go pay people to find information on you so they can put it in the battle against you. But is not just limited to rap battle. It goes into the whole ether of the entertainment, right? So, and I'm saying all this to allude and lead up to my commentary at the end because I'm a musician. In particular, this is my
from
genre.
the diss track in 2024, Family Matters, where Drake levies allegations against Kendrick Lamar about domestic violence. And I think he's trying to build a case not just in his own diss tracks, but also that UMG was attempting to devalue Drake by inflating Kendrick Lamar's popularity by pushing this song when they knew it to be defamatory. And they're trying to look for the inner workings and the communications through all of these 75 document requests.
This is a legal dude.
And as Justin,
He's
as
legal.
Brian just pointed out, I mean, this dispute started as a rap battle. I mean, just the love of the game, right? Two artists exchanging diss tracks.
So it's the love of the game is one thing. So I'm gonna go like this. Not 50 Cent. Tupac and Biggie. Right? Tupac basically was like, yo, I fucked your bitch, I fucked your wife. Talking about faith towards Biggie, right? And people were like, oh, he's lying. But years after the whole situation went down, pictures came up of that night of Faith Evans with Tupac. Now we do I don't know, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But a picture could tell 1,000 words. Allegedly. Right? We seen what happened with the Biggie Tupac rivalry. Right? When Jay-Z had beef back in those days against Mobb Deep Prodigy, he had receipts. He put up Prodigy when he was in ballet up on the Summer Jam big screen, Jumbotron. Receipts. Right? So the thing is this. As an MC, if you pull out some actual receipts on me, I can't be mad at it because it's the receipts, right? Just like how Whitney Houston was like, show me the receipts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that became the legendary, shout out to Whitney Houston, despite it all, that became the legendary line, show me the receipts, right? So you gotta have the receipts. You gotta have the receipts in order to truly, honestly win the battle. But let's continue.
Which, of course, is the culture of rap. It's the culture of hip hop. I mean, it's how it all started. What does this mean for the culture now that you literally have a rapper in some ways allegedly trying to litigate a rap beef? I mean, in the legal arena, what do you think?
They're trying to downplay it, in my
I think when
opinion.
you look at it like this, you really have to look at the last year of Drake's life. And it's really unfamiliar for any rap artist, especially a superstar rap artist. He was involved in the biggest rap beef of all time. One that I think most people would say he objectively lost. He saw Not Like Us become an international rallying cry. He even had a fallout with LeBron James, it seems. And then on top of that, the cherry on top is this lawsuit. And in hip hop, a lawsuit is kind of an unforgivable sin, especially when it comes to battle records. We've all listened to a lot of hip hop.
No. So I'm going to go like this. I've lived through the Biggie Tupac beef, the East Coast, West Coast beef. I lived through it. Okay? It was like this. It was real. Okay? I wish they would have settled it on some litigations like this versus the way it went down. Okay? And they had receipts. One person fucked another person's wife. Excuse my language. You know, they had several people doing several different things. Even still to this day, people from different states, feds, raided people's house. Look it up. It's still being solved to this day. Stuff has come out in the Diddy trial, allegedly, to this day. Behind that beef. But guess what the difference was? It was receipts. It was really popping off. It was really popping off, right? Defamation of character is something a little bit different.
Over the course of our life, we've heard battle records, people say some outlandish things, but you know, this lawsuit that Drake is levying is kind of giving a staying power to the beef that's largely because Drake refuses to let this go.
It's not about Drake is refusing to let it go. He said people have said outlandish things. People have said outlandish things that really happened. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference. Even going back to the 80s, Kumo D versus Busy B. KRS-One versus MC Shan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all been real. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go there because I don't want to go there, but I just to prove a point. KRS One from Boogie Down Bronx, Boogie Down Production, BDP. He lost his DJ in the beef. It was real because the stuff that they were saying was real. But anyway, he went against MC Shan, Queensbridge. This is before Nas. This is before Nori. You know what I'm saying? He went against MC Shan, Marley Marl, Queensbridge. And he had said, he ran out all the list of the artists in the crew, and he was like, MC Shan, like, Roxanne Shante is only good for steady. Good for steady. Good for steady. Where's my thing at? Where's my thing at? Good for steady. You know what I'm saying? And back then, she was like 14, 15. So it was like, why would you say that about her then? Did you see Roxanne Shantae's documentary on Netflix? Did you see it? She said she had her first baby at 14. Now, he may not have been trying to insult or degrade her, but he was telling the truth. I'm just saying, but let's continue. So it was battles with, and I come from the streets. I come from New York. I come from it, and I'm an MC. In a battle, if you telling the truth, then I'm going to bow down and take it because it's the truth. You see what I'm saying? You hit me with it's the truth. But if it's not the truth, then it could possibly, might be defamation of character.
And on one hand, it is understandable in a sense. Kendrick not only beat him, he out-strategized him, he embarrassed him.
Really?
But on the other hand, I do wonder what the end goal is here, because nothing will erase the impact, not just of Not Like Us, but the battle itself. And keep in mind, too, this is also very important. This is all happening while Drake and UMG are prepping for the biggest release or the most important release of his career with Iceman. And it's kind of like the equivalent of arguing with your boss in the parking lot before you have to give a company-wide presentation.
Oh, I like that analogy. You're right to point out Iceman releasing pretty soon, because all eyes are on that. If this reignites the beef, if there are any subliminals or any direct shots that kind of keep this whole thing going. All right, Brian, let's ping it back to you. What is next for the case?
Yeah, so in a case like this, we're in the heart, I would say, of the discovery process, and that's when you're attempting to request certain documents and information so that you can strengthen your case. And the judge is going to be the referee in a sense of Drake is asking for communications involving, for example, the Super Bowl halftime, and I assume UMG is going to come back and say either these are the documents we have or these documents don't exist, and the judge would be the referee in terms of what does or does not need to be turned over. When that's done, I would expect some form of negotiation for a settlement. Motion practice, trying to probably dismiss claims based on the lack of information or the information that is acquired from UMG. And then if that doesn't get resolved, it will likely go to trial if they can't find some sort of solution.
We will see how all of this plays out. Brian Buckmeyer, Justin Tinsley, thank you both, friends, for joining us. We appreciate you.
So like he said, like the legal dude said, like it's a discovery phase, right? If I'm feeling that this is what was done, prove me wrong. Right? So they have the ability right now, a window of opportunity to prove Drake wrong. But like, yo, you're paranoid. We didn't know he was going to say that, but he said it and it won the battle, fair and square. But let me go back a bit. I got to go back a few years. Do you remember the story of Adnan? I'm from New York, but I spent plenty of years in Virginia Beach. 757, 2 up, 2 down. So I would be remiss to not throw this in here at the end. Pusha T. The Clips. They just dropped the album, which is like an instant classic. They just dropped, right? A lot of people that might, side with Kendrick, side with Drake, or whatever, will agree that when Drake had a battle with Pusha T, because he did the same thing, just like how he did here. He had a battle with Meek Mill too. Drake will call you out. Drake called out Pusha T, and Pusha T stepped up to bat and was like, you know why I say he stepped up to bat like that? Because he had facts. Facts. Now Meek Mills was pillow talking with his girl at the time, Nicki Minaj. So we don't know what was what, right? And since then, we've seen that Drake and Meek Mills have patched things up. So, we don't know. We don't know, right? But Drake won that battle against Meek Mills because his facts were stronger. His facts came through like facts, right? Then Pusha T came through and said, hey, you got a son that you're hiding. Is it you're hiding him from us or you hiding him from the world? Like, what's going on? Shots. And what happened as a result of that? Pusha T won. Drake came back around and was like, yeah, I was hiding my son because I didn't know it was my son. And he explained that he didn't do no lawsuit against Pusha T. There was no lawsuit against Pusha T. You know why? Because Pusha T strategically executed a plan according to the rap rules with facts. I don't know how else to say it. Right? So with the rap battle, he came through with facts. And guess what? Drake couldn't do. You can't dispute the facts because guess what? In any sport, right? You win some, you lose some. And you have to take it on the chin. And he took it on the chin. He may not have liked it, but he took it on the chin. So with me witnessing and going through the Pusha T battle with Drake and seeing that play out, and like, wow, because back then it seemed like he got a son. We never heard nothing about his son. But Drake came out with like, yeah, I have a son, He won, basically. You had to do this. You had to do this for Pusha. Like, yo, he won that. Because he came through with receipts as any authentic, real, thorough rap battle should be. So I'm not saying that, Drake is one way or the other with this, but where there's smoke, there's fire. If he is pursuing a lawsuit to clear his name of defamation, you're saying I'm a PDF file and I did this and I did that. Where there's smoke, there's fire. We can't just say, oh, it's just you're just salty about a battle because he's been in battles before and he's lost before and he had to take it. He had to take it. And I'm just speaking from a neutral standpoint as a musician, been there, been in battles. You have to have a tough skin for this. And you got to be prepared for the worst, especially if you're out here doing dirt. You got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best, right? So that's just the world we're in if you're over here in this world. So where there's smoke, there's fire. That's all I'll say about that. Now, some people say he was asking for, DNA test on Kendrick's kids. I don't know if that's real or not. That's kind of crazy. And there was some people saying like, oh, it was, he wants to see, what he said, DNA test. There was something else he was saying like, oh, he wanted to submit his own record to say, hey, look, my criminal record has no charges against me. This background check, right? And maybe it is to prove a point. And he was like, oh, let's see if there's any records out there or any reports, police reports filed against domestic violence against Kendrick, right? Maybe he's trying to prove lyrics because lyrics like that, when in a battle, it comes with receipts. And I'm going to just leave it there. But you guys, meet me in the comments. I'm neutral, but I'm a musician, right? And I like to look at everything with discernment. So meet me in the comments. Actually, don't meet me there. Beat me there, all right? And y'all tell me what y'all think about this. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with my motto. If you like anything I do, tell a friend. If you don't like anything I do, tell a friend. And from my lips to your ears, I love you. But I need you to love me. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. Hit the like, hit the share it with a friend. Go tell a friend, and come back, all right? And until next time, it's your girl Gongli, and the She Could Talk the podcast, and I'm out. Peace. They talk about it. They talk about it. They talk about it. They talk